Tonight, NDC Chairman Asiedu Nketia accuses the NPP of engineering the Mahama third-term narrative in a deliberate plot and smear campaign to discredit and destabilise the governing NDC.
They are trying to use this third term as a tool for mobilization of their base. He's doing this, he's doing that, because he wants to do a third term. Can't we see it?
Are you suggesting that the MPP is behind this third term agenda push the narrative?
Well, Asiedu Nketia also took aim at the NPP's defense of the convicted Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Ntwibwe, accusing the party of being funded by Galamsey money.
Wontumi must have used the resources to finance MPP. They feel obliged to defend him even when there is evidence that he has done the wrong thing. That is what is happening. Didn't you hear Party Heska?
Top story is brought to you by Telecel. Connecting Energies holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Shield Pension Trust into the future with you. When we return from the break, we put those explosive claims to the test and speak to the NPP, the NDC, and a political analyst. Don't go anywhere.
If I become a millionaire, I will put a huge billboard right next to my ex's house saying, "Look at me now, I hate it."
As for me, I'm quitting my job in Star. I hate it.
Telecel is making millionaires this season. Not one, not two, but 3 millionaires. Each month, one lucky Telecel customer wins 1 million Ghana cedis for the next 3 months in the Telecel Mahetse promo. Plus, you still get to win 20,000 Ghana cedis weekly, and 100 Ghana cedis daily. Bundle 10 Ghana cedis. Time or data, top up your Telecel cash wallet or your fixed broadband to stand a chance of winning. Visit the Telecel Play app or dial *500# to opt in for free into the Telecel Mahetse promo.
Telecel, connecting energies.
This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me da with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Ghana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
The Global Conference on Human Resources in Africa returns August 12th to the 15th at the Kempiski Hotel, Accra. It's 4 days of converging HR professionals, business executives, policy makers, and industry leaders from over 15 countries on AI, leadership, workforce transformation, and the future of work. We will be joined by Honorable Rashid Papo, the Labour Minister, Michael D'Ambrose, Fortune 50 HR and Transformation Leader, Achal Khanna of SHRM India, Daniel Vargas of Microsoft, Sheamus Clancy of LinkedIn, Dr. Francis Aduku of CIHRM, Uzuaku Nwobi of PwC Nigeria, Martin Kirangu of Deo Local Payroll, and more. Expect keynotes, panels, innovation labs, masterclasses, and curated talks. Sponsors and exhibitors include SHRM, LinkedIn, MTN, PwC, Deo Local Payroll, Atlas Copilot, CIFA, and more. Visit gchrafrica.com or call 055-408-1727. That is 055-408-1727.
Palladium Residences in Achimota isn't just an address, it's the home you've truly earned. Secure your place with just a 10% deposit and choose from beautifully designed modern apartments or spacious townhouses built for everyday comfort. This is more than a building. It's a vibrant curated community with a clubhouse, state-of-the-art gym, and an on-site hotel, all at ABC Junction, minutes from Achimota Mall. Enjoy city energy whilst retreating to your private sanctuary. Call now to reserve your unit and benefit from limited launch incentives, including priority unit selection. Don't miss the chance to pick the best homes. Book your private site visit today. Call 050-9823-424. Palladium Residences. Live smart, invest better.
This is Top Story. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi. Tonight, the NDC National Chairman, Asiedu Nketia, is making explosive allegations against the NPP. Asiedu Nketia says the NPP has weaponized the Mahama third-term narrative in a calculated plot designed to destabilise, divide and discredit the NDC. The Mahama third-term talk started after some NDC communicators and NPP members suggested that President Mahama could seek to amend the constitution to run again in 2028. Well, the presidency has since denied that. Meanwhile, 3 cases are already before the Supreme Court, all asking the court to interpret Article 66, Clause 2. Speaking exclusively on PM Express last night with Evans Mensah, Asiedu Nketia said the NPP masterminded the third-term agenda. Listen to him.
I don't know how old you were when President Rawlings was approaching 2000.
I covered that election, so
the whole very well. You remember the whole country was say accountability fund.
Yes.
You remember?
Yes.
Because of that accountability fund, they put President Rawlings so much under pressure that whenever he sought to imply that he will hand over to anybody who won, people didn't believe.
Yeah.
And they were saying that no, this soldier man, he won't hand over. Even if he loses, he won't hand over. So the campaign deviated from policy to whether he will hand over or not hand over. So he was forced to declare in Swedru that if his vice president is contesting, he will support him. Just to settle the debate that he will not contest. Then that turned into a different thing.
Pseudo declaration. And
then they say pseudo declaration.
Split the party.
So the spin then started. And there was an implosion in our party. And the party split and we lost the election.
You think something similar is happening now?
I think those who are pushing this type of narrative, they want to tempt President Mahama to make some declaration in order to convince people that he's not coming, which may end up, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. So the same thing that President Rawlings was subjected to, they knew he was hugely popular and all that. President Mahama too is hugely popular now. So, and if you hear the narrative of NPP now, they are not discussing policy. They are trying to use this third term as a tool for mobilization of their base.
That's Asiedu Nketia. He's the national chairman of the governing NDC. He's also accusing the opposition NPP of being funded by Galamsey money and says Chairman Wontumi deserves to be in jail. Listen to him again.
They are now trying to use the conviction of Wontumi, which they themselves know is on solid legal grounds with abundant evidence. But nevertheless, they want to use the jailing of Wontumi as a tool for mobilization. The same way they want to get a tool out of this third term and use it to mobilize their base.
The party is hitting the streets on Thursday. They say it's selective justice.
Now I've been saying that that is the worst thing any leadership of any political party can subject its party to. It's good for us.
How?
It's painting them as people who are responsible for Galamsey, and because Wontumi must have used the resources to finance NPP, they feel obliged to defend him even when there is evidence that he has done the wrong thing. That is what is happening. Didn't you hear Party Hienska? You heard it. That was when the Galamsey was at its height. Party Hienska, that was it. So they feel that Wontumi having done the wrong thing and shared the money to finance the party, it is their obligation to defend him, whether the public says he has done right or wrong.
Well, Asiedu Nketia is also warning that the Supreme Court decision to scrap the delegate system will make democracy too expensive.
You spend more on printing of ballot papers, because the delegate system, you would be printing about less than 400,000. But with this one man, one vote, you are in excess of 1 million to 2 million ballot papers. The Electoral Commission took the view that this was a private election whose costs must be borne exclusively by the party. So every polling station, the Electoral Commission recruited about 4 polling officials. And we had to pay them and pay all the cost of the materials, everything. So Electoral Commission didn't contribute to 1 cedi. And so in the end, in those days, we spent close to 14 million.
In 2014?
2014.
Richard Ahiagba is the National Communication Director of the opposition NPP. Mustafa Gbande is the Deputy General Secretary of the governing NDC. Dr. Kwame Asante is a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana. I'm grateful for your time this evening, gentlemen. Let me begin with Richard Ahiagba. Welcome to the program, Richard. So Johnson Asiedu Nketia, the chairman of the NDC, says that your party, the NPP, deliberately manufactured the Mahama third term narrative to create confusion within the NDC. Is that the case? Do I have Richard Ahiagba with me? Right, we're still working the lines to get Richard Ahiagba, but let me bring in Mustafa Gbande. He's the Deputy General Secretary of the governing NDC. Mustafa, good to have you on the show this evening. Your party, the NDC, says there is no third-term agenda. Many are wondering if that is the case, why has the issue refused to die despite repeated denials, both from the presidency and the latest one from your chairman, Johnson Asiedu Nketia?
Thank you very much, and good evening to our listeners. The question is just as when a lecturer comes to speak and you call the student to come and analyze the lecture of the lecturer. I don't think that is prudent. But you see, the conversation of third term, which I made the last time, is in consistency with what anybody is saying. But except to say that this whole industry of third term, it's not a conversation that should arise. It is an MPP creation being handled by Paul Adumatre and his likes to spin around. So every 2 weeks, Paul Adumatre, who is preparing to go and contest an MPP ticket in Alleges, had to do presidential third term conversation on his show every 2 weeks. What I said was that the leader of the party, who is the president, is obligated at every point in time to speak to the council of the party in a council meeting. Whether the president ends his ambition or the president does not end his ambition, the president does not speak to his party in public. And that even if the president intends to say something and he wants that to be handled by the party, the president will simply call a national council meeting. If the president goes to Akoso Volta region and speak to the media, or he goes to South Korea and speak to the media, I, as a Deputy General Secretary, cannot assume that to be a communication by the leader of the party to the party. That is customary. Number two, the issue of third term is not third term. But there is a conversation which is being debatable. My national chairman talked about it. That is as to whether or not the truncation of President Mahama's exit and his comeback leaves constitutional question that should be answered by the court. This is intellectual. These people have gone to court. It's happening in U.S. There are other school of thought that says the U.S. Constitution is different from the Ghanaian Constitution. And so that legality will be settled. It is not a conversation of a third term. So I agree And I want that my wise national chairman have said that is a creation of the NPP to hang our system, to divide us, and to exploit same to seek to build their collapse party, and which we deny and we run away from.
I'll come back to you. Don't go yet. I now have Richard Ahiangba on the line with me. He is the Director of Communications with the opposition NPP. Richard, do I have you on the line?
Yes.
Welcome to the program. The National Chairman of the NDC, Asiedu Nketia, says your party, the NPP, is the one that manufactured the Mahama third term narrative to create confusion within the NDC. Why did the NPP do that?
You should ask Chairman Asiedu Nketia what he means by that. I don't understand what he means by that. I don't know what he means by that. That is a creation of the new patriotic party. Are we the ones who have taken the case to Supreme Court for interpretation of non-consecutive 2 terms, meaning that one has served 2 terms, or there is something that ought to be explained constitutionally by the Supreme Court? And if that explanation comes, who will it benefit? So if he's saying that we are pushing that conversation, I don't understand what he means. The respected Chairman Asiedu Nketia is making light of everything. You understand? He's making light of a lot of things, but these are very serious matters, you know, where the attempt is being made. Now, my brother Mustafa just explained to you one thing, that there's a need to understand whether 2 terms means that you go consecutively, or when there's a break, it is a 1 term, and then you can go consecutively 2 terms. That gives away the plot. That gives away what it is we're talking about. We're saying that don't give any room to ventilate the thought that anybody can go 2 terms beyond being in office once and twice, whether it is all at once or broken into 2. That must be clear. We are clear. The Constitution is clear. But then the attempt to want to understand what is already clear gives away a certain plot to say that maybe so now when the explanation comes, or the ruling comes from the Supreme Court that, oh, consecutively means you know, you must go 2 terms in a row, and when it's truncated, then you start over again. Then who will be the beneficiary for it? And why do we even need to have that conversation? Okay, why do we have to have that conversation? So when they are telling you this thing that NPP is, you know, pushing this conversation, you should ask yourself, if you are not concerned about that, you should ask them. You shouldn't have to wait to ask me. Why is it NPP's problem? Is the Constitution, is it NPP's own property? No, it's our Constitution. All of us must be interested. And we as opposition, yes, of course, will sound the alarm bells, will lead the advocacy, but it is not that we're leading it for ourselves, we're leading it for Ghana. So what Chairman Asiedu Nketia is talking about, I don't understand what he means by that, except that he's kidding. And I think that this is a serious matter that ought not to be kidded with. You understand? So my brother Mustafa, yes, he's saying that President Mahama doesn't want it. He has said it. But we're saying that why the need for this interpretation? The Constitution is clear, very, very clear, in plain language. There is nothing ambiguous about it. It is plain that everybody understands that 2 terms means 2 terms. And even if there is any hidden interpretation to this, why do we want to indulge in a democracy where everybody else before President Mahama has gone 1 term, you know, 2 term in a row, and then he had gone once and then it was truncated, and so therefore he has to go again. That creates a very bad precedent. If we allow this to happen, it creates a very bad precedent where somebody can continue to pursue presidential ambition ad nauseum. Like, okay, well, I went, it was truncated, so I start all over again. I mean, are we playing games here? We're not playing games. It's serious business. And so therefore, any interpretation that is going to perhaps suggest that a truncated term means that you go afresh, would be kidding and toying with our democracy.
Right, Richard, don't go yet. Stay with me. I also still have Mustafa Bande with me. Let me now bring in Dr. Kwame Asante, who is a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana. Dr. Asante, welcome to the program. Let's look at the debate objectively. Do you think the conversation about a possible Mahama third term has been driven by politics rather than the actual wording of the Constitution, which 3 people are now having suits at the Supreme Court challenging the interpretation of Article 66?
Let us know that it's everybody's right to go to court and seek redress whenever there is an issue that he or she is not doesn't have the interpretation. So we can't take that right from them. But that said, we are saying that issue of third term agenda is a big issue, and we should not just look at Ghana, look at the experience in Africa, so that we can be very careful when we are dealing with our democracy. The story of third term agenda has never been a good one. If you look at Algeria, third term agenda, it was successful. You look at Cameroon, successful. Chad, successful. Djibouti, successful. Gabon, Guinea, Malawi, Namibia. The list is endless. And all these places we have seen problems. So I am very sure that the way this democracy has served us, in spite of a few lingering challenges, it has done its best for us, and we have had stability. So anything that would toy with this democracy and make it difficult to run, I'm afraid we should shy away with. Whoever has started this conversation, what we ought to know, that anything that we would do to derail this democracy, we must shy away from that. And that, look, the issue of third term agenda, the story in Africa is not too good. So for me, I have hope that the Supreme Court will deliver the judgment that will stand the test of time, and it will lay to rest all the noise that is around this subject. But it's a very critical issue that we don't have to toy with at all.
Okay, right. Mustafa Bande, do I still have you with me?
Yes, I'm here.
Right. I want you to hold on for me and listen to this. This is an interview you granted to Israel Lai 2 weeks ago on Joy Prime TV, and I'll come back to you.
He doesn't qualify for a third term. The Constitution says that.
How did you know he doesn't qualify?
And he himself has said it.
Where?
That, look, there are people jostling for me.
Where did he say it?
Oh, he said it on several forums.
Where?
That there are people jostling for me. I'm not interested in
where did he say it? Where did he
said it. We can play. We can find videos.
But the president doesn't speak to the party outside the party boardroom. So we are party executives. If the president wants to tell us, announce his intention to us, he will go to South Korea and go and say it there, and then we take it.
So are you saying what the president
didn't make him? The president didn't make himself. The party made him. He's the leader of the party.
So the party is not going to allow him to say he can't.
With that conversation, I've indicated many times that is not a conversation for anybody. It's a conversation for a certain class of individuals.
It's a conversation for the person who's supposed to be contesting.
No, he's not. President Mahama doesn't. We control him. He's our leader. He's the leader of the party. What the party says, plus what he thinks, is what takes place. You think he should not be tired? He's tired. But we are not there yet. The man is just 2 years in power.
On the face of it, right now, there are people in the NDC who are jostling.
They are not jostling. We are stopping everybody.
Mustafa Bande, that's an interview you had with Israel Lai on Joy Prime, as I mentioned earlier, some 2 weeks ago. There's been a lot of interpretation to this, meaning that it is the party that is going to decide whether or not President John Mahama will go for a third term or not. And in fact, in your own words, you said that the party controls John Mahama and not the other way round. Can you explain exactly what you meant by this?
Well, that interpretation in itself, if it's done by journalists, is not professional. Intellectually, it is lame. Because I would ask, there are two legs of this matter. Persons putting themselves out for premature presidential ambitions. We spoke about it in this statement and said that we are stopping everybody from doing that because it is way premature into any government that within 1 year and a half or 1 year, 8 months, persons, serious individuals, ministers of state inclusive, are showing intentions all over the place, and that it would undermine the collective mandate of the government. I spoke about it. And two, the fact that I maintain that if the leader of the party, your boss, Kwesi Chum, if he wants to speak to Joy FM, he won't go and announce it on Peace FM. He will come to your boardroom and he will tell you what is on his mind at a certain point in time. So for me, if the president says anything in public and doesn't say it to the party as a body, as an officer of the party, I do not think that that conversation is for my official consumption. Don't forget that I was speaking under my office as a deputy general secretary. You understand? So any interpretation to the contrary is lame, but I still maintain that the issue of third term, like my national chairman has said, have not, been generated by even civil society organization. It is a creation of the NPP. They hang on it. My brother Richard Ahiagba is part of those who formed it. Persons like Paul Adumochiri are the architect of it. They still spin it. Anything anybody does in the NDC, the leading figures of our government and our party, they will find a way to drag them into an ambitious conversation, which for me is very dangerous, and it doesn't make the MPP very intellectual. It is as though the same thing they are doing, a matter that is a constitutional matter, they are seeking to use demonstrations to do it as if they haven't been to school. Excuse my language. We cannot continue to do politics like that, and politicians continue to misbehave and go free with it. If you are an intellectual politician, then you should know that it is within the right of any citizen to want to seek a better clarity in any part of our laws and our constitution. You don't discuss that on radio and in your cycles and think that you are curing the issue, which is what Richard Ahiagba is saying.
Okay.
The same way, if you believe that a court have erred in any of its judgment, then it's a subject matter for appeal and dealing with it. You don't go and stage demonstration. It is illiteracy to do that. You don't do that as a wise political party. And they rather call us veranda boys and girls. These are the suit-wearing politicians we have, and that is what they are doing.
Mustafa Bande, I must put on record that here at Joy FM, we cannot substantiate your claim that Paul Adumochiri is behind the third term agenda, but you've also mentioned Richard Ahiagba. He is here, so he can defend himself, and he's the man I'm coming to right now. Richard, you've been listening to Mustafa Bande accusing you personally of being one of the brains and masterminds behind the third term agenda, and also he's been offering some clarity to an interview he granted 2 weeks ago to Israel Lai. Let me hear you.
Interesting. That's a way power gets into you and it makes you arrogant without you knowing. My brother is speaking with a certain edge which is not helpful. Okay, for him, he must know he's not only the deputy general secretary of the party, he's also a public official, a public servant, and he must know that the level of arrogance is too much. You need to dial it down. You see, what does it mean that MPP is behind it? What does it mean? I mean, is that supposed to be demeaning? Is that supposed to be unacceptable? We're saying that our constitution is clear. If it is not clear and he thinks that we are rather the uneducated ones, then I'm sorry. The thing is clear on the face of it. I want him to, I can give him a minute to explain what it means that MPP is behind it. Behind what? We are saying what is about to happen is unacceptable. It shouldn't happen. What is supposed to be the work of an opposition? If we don't signal something happening potentially to disrupt our democracy, if we don't signal it, what would we be worth as an opposition? So what does the Chairman Asiedu Nketia mean? What does Mustafa Bande mean when he says that MPP is behind it? Behind what? Do we want to be do we want to run Akufo-Addo for third term? Is that what it's trying to say? We're saying that don't get us on that path. And the history is here in Africa. We see it across board, where third-term efforts always end up disrupting democracies. The excessive drive for power is not helpful, and we're signaling, we're cautioning. So if there is anything to flag here, we are the ones flagging a possible, abuse of our constitution, and we're saying that that is not something we should entertain. And so, what does it mean that NPP is behind it? Of course, we don't want that to happen. So what is behind anything? Are we hiding in some room talking about it? We said it from the beginning when the chief of staff, the chief justice was going to be kicked out, and we said that it will culminate in a day where there is this application before a Supreme Court for interpretation. Is that not what is unfolding? So what is it talking about that we are behind it? We are behind it means what? That it is bad to say that don't do this to our democracy? What is the meaning of that? Mustafa, what's the meaning of that? That we are behind what? You're about to do something that we feel is egregious. Nobody should encourage it. And I don't think that President Mahama wants it, but maybe some people around want to foist that on him. The balance of the conversation we're having is that we have not been here before, where anybody is seeking 30 years and more. Nobody has gotten us to that point, where the temptation is that, let's explain. So what happens? What happens, Mustafa? What happens if this interpretation goes through, and God forbid that there's a return to say that yes, a consecutive term is 2 terms. Well, when it is broken, you start afresh. What happens? What happens? And then you tell us that NPP is behind it. We are behind what? I mean, is it wrong to say let not the wrong thing happen? Is it wrong? So I don't understand. When Mustafa says we are behind it like what? If being behind it means that we are flagging that this should not happen, then I am behind it for good reasons. So what does it mean? You can call us that we are uneducated for all you want, but time will tell. And I just said that power has a way of getting you to think that you are the wisest man in the room. Meanwhile, we all be living in this country, so Mustafa cannot begin to talk in those terms about us.
All right, Richard Anyangba, please don't go yet. Same to Mustafa Bande and Dr. Kwame Asante. I'll come back to you shortly, but in the meantime, let's bring you News 9, and Gemma has the headlines. Gemma, what's coming up?
Coming up, Obuasi Tech shuts down indefinitely and 6 students arrested after a mob allegedly attacked the headmaster.
To us that the school is closed down because of the way they attacked the headmaster. They went on rampage and vandalized a lot of things of the headmaster's bungalow and other things. We arrested 6 of them.
Meanwhile, Ministry of Education has directed Ghana Education Service to launch a full investigation and apply the appropriate sanctions against all persons found culpable. Also tonight, Germany backs constitutional review proposal of extending term of presidents and MPs to 5 years as Afrobarometer launches report on citizens' perspectives on a shifting global order.
I have always believed that governments need time to govern. Personally, I'm a strong supporter of 5-year legislative terms because good policy takes time, and governments should not have to govern with one eye permanently fixed on tomorrow's headlines.
We have details of the findings of the survey, with 45% of all Africans wanting to leave the continent. Fresh IMF data shows BOG's domestic gold purchase program involving Gold Board made a loss of 22 billion cedis in just a year. We interrogate this. Also running the NDC may not be enough for Johnson Asiedu Nketia. Apparently, he wants another job.
That's why I've been lobbying to become the acting national chairman.
As for the
so that
NPP,
I will do, yes,
acting national chairman.
Yes, so I can.
We bring you details on that on your say. Share your views with us either through comments or send us a short voice note on our WhatsApp console 055 11 11 997 and tag us on all our social media handles. You can also send a voice note. Make it very short and straight to the point in business.
Well, the IMF sees the Policy Coordination Instrument Program for Ghana as a major game changer for the economy.
Later in sports,
Black Queens head coach backs team to deliver against Mali tomorrow in the Women's African Cup of Nations.
Details of these stories right after the interviews with
exactly.
guest.
Yes, Richard Anyangba, as I mentioned earlier, is the National Communications Director of the NPP. Mustafa Gbande is also on the line. He's the Deputy General Secretary of the governing NDC. Dr. Kwame Asante is a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana. Dr. Asante, I know that you're not a lawyer, of course, but we already have 3 cases before the Supreme Court challenging the Article 66, Clause 2. What do you think are the legal questions at stake, and could the ruling permanently settle this controversy, you think?
Oh, I'm not a lawyer, as you have rightly said, but I have had firm belief with the Supreme Court and the decisions, and it's not going to change. I rest in the hope that the court would deliver judgment that will stand the test of time and protect this democracy forever. So I'm hopeful that the day that the court will hand down the judgment, all of us will go home and sleep with our 2 eyes closed, that at least we are going to save our democracy. I trust the court, and the court has never failed me.
Right. Let me give the final words to Mustafa Gbande and Richard Ahiagba as well. Mustafa, of course, there are already 3 suits, as we all are aware, before the Supreme Court. Will the NDC welcome whatever the outcome of that suit will be?
I thought that you heard my national chairman, who have made it very clear, and I think that his submissions represent all of us, our views on this matter. Now, my brother Richard Ahiagba and his party must know. And what I mean by literacy is when you know we have rights in this country. And human beings, as far as our Ghanaian, within our constitution, are given those rights to seek redress on any issue in court. Are they saying that courts in this country, and that when there are matters for interpretations, matters of concern, we should go to NPP headquarters for interpretation? Is that what they want to tell the country? They want to turn this country very lawless. They know the right thing, but they lock it with key and put the key in their houses, and they walk with their head and say that all of us should embrace their mindset, that whatever the courts will do, as far as the NPP is against it, should be supreme and should be accepted by all. We reject that mentality. We reject that posture, and it won't happen in this country. The NDC is not discussing third term. Nobody in the NDC is discussing a third term. We are simply discharging and cleaning their mess, their corrupt mess that they cause in this country. That is what we are cleaning. Any difficulty the NDC government faces in our administration is as a result of the mighty mess, deliberate, orchestrated corruption by the NPP. At the time, my brother Richard Ahiagba was a communication director. That was when it happened. And so they should give us some peace of mind, some break, because you see, when Ghana develops, the people of Ghana will be happy. It doesn't matter whether you are NDC or MPP. Political parties are not only election-winning machines. It is also a source of thinking and reasoning for national development. Let the MPP up their game to that standard. That is what we have done as the NDC, and we are happy with it. Let them up their game. They are too low in the queue. And he calls that, because I'm saying that, I am arrogant. The listeners will judge for themselves.
Mustafa Gbande, thank you very much. That's the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. Richard Ahiagba is also the Director of Communications with the opposition NPP. Richard, Mustafa says the NPP should up your game because you are long behind the queue.
Yeah, well, it's so rich coming from Mustafa. The point of it is that, he's talking about we want them to come to our headquarters for interpretation, and once we are not happy with something, then all hell break loose. Were there not the people in opposition a few days ago calling the court unanimous FC? Today they know that the court can give verdict, and so therefore their verdict should be trusted. Are they the ones talking? They're the ones talking on this matter. They are on the wrong side. They've been given signals of acquiescing to this. Mustafa himself, based on comment he has made on Joy Prime that you have played, except he's a good talker, so he's talked his way out of it. But the indication of what he said or the implication of what he said there is that President Mahama has not closed the door on a third term. That's what he said. That's the import of what he said. So if you have said that, and people are advocating that they don't want that to happen in Ghana, then you say that they are the ones to be blamed. What is even that? I mean, I want you one day to call the chairman, Asiedu Nketia, ask him, when you say NPP is behind that, what does that mean? And when your indication, your talks are pointing to a direction that this thing, if you get it, you want it. In May, I mean, yes, on May 5th, when we did our demonstration, and even long before that, okay, once the effort started to remove the Chief Justice, we said this is the end game. And everything we said is unfolding just as we said it. And it's happening. So now, the question now is that if there is a return ruling from the Supreme Court that says that, yes, it's okay for one to run for a third term after there's a truncation, then inevitably, President Mahama, it would have fallen on his lap, following his own indications that, well, he doesn't want to go, he doesn't think that he's focused on the term that is given, he wants to finish that and go. But when he hears there's a ruling that says that, yes, two term means you go consecutively, but anything truncated, you start afresh, you think President Mahama will not run? And if he runs, wouldn't that be a third term? So what we are saying, we are on the right side of history to say that let's all have that simple understanding. If there is any doubt in anybody's mind, let the person err on the side of caution to say that two terms mean two terms. Whether you went first and truncated or not, two terms means two terms, period. There's cannot be any ambiguity about that.
Right, Richard Ahiagba, grateful for your time. Glad you could join me this evening. Mustafa Gbande also joined the conversation earlier. We also heard from Dr. Kwame Asante, who is a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana. Let's bring you some education-related stories tonight, Gemma.
The Obuasi Municipal Assembly has ordered the indefinite closure of Obuasi Secondary Technical School following a violent incident in which the school's headmaster was allegedly attacked by a mob of students. The decision was taken after tensions on the school's campus escalated into violence, prompting intervention by security agencies to restore calm and protect lives and property. According to reports, tensions at the school escalated after some students alleged that the headmaster had been seen in a nearby bush burying a fetus. My colleague Nana Bwachi Yadomi in the Ashanti region joins me live with details. Nana Bwachi, give us the detailed background to the story. Nana Bwachi, kindly unmute for me.
Gemma, if you can hear me.
Kindly go ahead.
Yeah, so Gemma, the whole incident happened yesterday when some students allegedly attacked their headmaster over what they suspect to be a burial of a fetus in connection to some sexual engagement he had with a student, which led to them, which led to him proposing that the lady aborts the child. The students said they saw the headmaster coming out of the campus bush, and they suspected that something was going on there. They approached the bush after the headmaster had left and identified that a fetus had been buried, and they decided to go and attack him, suspecting that there was some fetish act ongoing on campus. But then further investigation revealed that the students are suspecting that it was because he had a sexual engagement with the student and believed that he proposed to the student to abort the child, gave the student some concussion, the fetus came out and then had gone into the bush to bury it, leading to the students attacking their headmaster.
We understand 6 students have been arrested. Tell us more.
Well, we can confirm by the report that we've picked up from the Obuasi Municipal Assembly that these 6 students were arrested in connection to the destruction that happened on campus. They destroyed 3 staff residents and other vehicles and also some properties belonging to the Obuasi sector. These students who are not yet identified are currently at police custody assisting with investigation.
And how's the headmaster doing?
Well, Gemma, the details we picked early in the morning is that the headmaster had been admitted at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. He was bleeding seriously and his health condition was very, very severe. As at now, we are trying to reach out to officials from the school and also to officials from the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital to know the current state of the headmaster. But then from the reports we have in the morning, He's in a serious health condition.
Thank you very much. Nana Bwachi Iyadom is my colleague in the Ashanti region. I earlier engaged the Obuasi District Police Commander, Superintendent Raymond Mahama Idrisu on this.
Yesterday on the 4th, at around 12 o'clock in the night, midnight, we had information that the headmaster of the Tech Senior High School is under attack. So we moved there. And then actually one when the headmaster was actually assaulted. So we took him to the hospital. Then the information we have is that the students saw a small baby, about 2 or 3 days baby boy being they alleged that the boy was being buried at the spot, and it is the headmaster who did that. So based on that, the West went and attacked him. So after we took the headmaster to the hospital for treatment, we also follow up, and the students led us to where the alleged boy baby was buried. And actually, the students have already went and dug the hole or the grave that they buried the boy, and assume the body, and they covered. So when we actually took the body and then sent it to the hospital. It's a baby boy, sent it to the hospital for further investigation. So after now, the school is closed down because of the way they attacked the headmaster. They went on rampage and vandalized a lot of things of the headmaster's bungalow and other things. So due to the situation, the volatile situation in the at the school, the school authorities and the municipal assembly, MUSEC and others, we came to the conclusion that the school be closed down for them to reorganize everything before the students will come back to school. So.
You heard the Obuasi District Police Commander Superintendent Raymond Mahama Idrisu. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Education has directed the Ghana Education Service to commence full investigation into the disturbance and apply the appropriate sanctions against all persons found culpable. Ken has details of the statement. Ken?
Well, so the statement says that the ministry is condemning the violent incident at Obuasi Senior High Technical School, or the ministry goes on to say that it considers the act of violence and lawlessness reprehensible and criminal. They say that such conduct has no place within Ghana's educational institutions and will not be tolerated under any circumstances. So the sector minister Haruna Idrisu has directed the Ghana Education Service to immediately take up the matter, commence a full investigation into the disturbance, and apply the appropriate disciplinary sanctions against all persons found culpable in accordance with the laws and regulations governing the education sector. That's what's contained in that press statement.
Joining us via Zoom is PRO for the Ghana Education Service, Daniel Fengi. Daniel, welcome to News Nights. The minister has directed your outfit, GES, to investigate the lawlessness we witnessed at Obuasi Sectec. But what's your preliminary findings telling you? Daniel, kindly unmute for me.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
I can.
Yes, thank you very much and good evening. Indeed, we received the directive in good faith. The attack on the headmaster is very, very unfortunate. Management condemns the attack very strongly. We condemn it especially in this period when even teachers are discouraged from caning, punishing, or inflicting some physical pains on the students. How much more students attacking the teachers, and in this instance, the head teacher, who is expected to provide leadership to the school. So we condemn it. As initial steps, management, upon seeing the video and how severe the head has been attacked, the blood oozing all over the face, and all that, the Deputy Director General, together with some management members, are in Obuasi at the moment because we couldn't have just sat in Accra and deliberated on the issues. Again, report indicates that 6 of the students have been arrested at the moment. the police stepped in very quickly. You know, the nature of our work, we work very closely with the security agencies. And so 6 of the students have been incarcerated at the moment. The school has also been temporarily shut down. And there is some investigations. So these are the initial steps that have been taken. We hope that full investigations will unravel the issues, the facts, the sanctions will be administered accordingly. And even those offenses that may go beyond the code of conduct of the service, the police may have to now come in, the state may have to now come in, the court may have to now come in to process some of these students. We condemn it. We wish the head speedy recovery. We will provide all the necessary support he would need to recover fully. And then for the students, you cannot even fight among yourselves as students. How much more extended to the teachers and then the head teacher in this case. Yes.
How long are you going to close down the school?
Indeed, we are looking at tempest calming down. We are looking at observing the school premises and ensuring that safety is restored. You know, school environments are supposed to promote safe and sound environment, conducive environment for learning. In the thinking of the security agencies, of course, with their expertise, they believe that the kind of assault and violence we witnessed cannot be an environment that will be conducive for teaching and learning to go on. And so the security agencies, of course, together with the Ghana Education Service, we are monitoring events on the grounds. Immediately we conclude, or immediately we ascertain that the environment is now safe for teaching and learning to go on. Why not? The school will be opened for the students to accept. But at the moment, as I mentioned, it has been temporarily shut down. We don't hope that it travels beyond a week anyway, but we are still, for us, it is the safety of the environment, the conduciveness of the environment that will determine if it can be, the school can be reopened very soon.
So I know you just mentioned that you are in Obuasi. What have you picked up so far concerning this incident and why the students decided to attack the headmaster?
I should mention that we landed there today. And so investigations are still bits and pieces scattered all over the place. We are putting one or two together. We are still trying to make meaning of what happened, picking the voices, picking the pieces of eyewitnesses, the students themselves, the head. In fact, at the moment, the head is receiving medical attention at a Okonfo-Anokye teaching hospital. And so we would not want to preempt. At the moment, it's just more of information gathering, getting the minds and the evidences of persons who were present at the time and putting all together, sieving them, and then taking it through the necessary disciplinary committee process and all that. And so at the moment, I should say that the information are scattered. We are putting them together and we wouldn't want to preempt at the moment.
Some have said we are recording these incidents on campus because GES has banned corporal punishment in schools. How do you respond to that?
You would recall that just a week ago, in fact, latter part of last week, there was a disciplinary conference held at Sunyani, spearheaded directly by the ministry itself. And this is one of the reasons that occasioned the conference. We thought that indiscipline is rising to some level that is not Ghanaian, that is not our culture, and that is foreign to us. And so we needed to bring all stakeholders, students, teachers, management of the service, the ministry itself, non traditional leaders, opinion leaders, of course, the teachers themselves, and all stakeholders to brainstorm the data available, why we have gotten here, and what steps must be taken. And so, yes, we must admit that the kinds of indiscipline, misconduct that we witness in our schools these days has gotten to that level where we are all very much concerned. At the moment, we would not have some data to support that it is the removal of caning and corporal punishment that has caused this. We do not have data to support it. Indeed, there are two schools of thought around this. Some believe that corporal punishment, because it inflicts pain on the students, they believe that naturally, if a student knows that if I take this step or that step, I will be caned, I will be beaten, they may fear, and out of the fear, they would not even do that at all. I also believe that no, if you want to change character, if you want to mold minds, if you want to genuinely change young people, you do not want to inflict pain on them to change it. You may want to take them through some processes, including guidance, including some counseling, including some reformative sanction system to change them. So yes, we know that there are two schools of thought regarding corporal punishment, except to say that we do not have data yet to confirm that it is the removal of corporal punishment that has led to the kinds of indiscipline and misconduct we see. However, I should mention that it was just last week that this conference was held. All the stakeholders brainstormed, and so we expect the report to come out shortly. And once the report comes out, we will interrogate the issues, we will look at the findings, and where applicable, of course, as Ghana Education Service, we will apply. In fact, we may tighten the sanction system. We may be more stringent on some of the sanctions that we give based on the recommendations that will come from the report of the conference.
Grateful for your time. Daniel Fingi is the PRO for the Ghana Education Service, but the Muslim community and also the Christian community have been speaking about indiscipline in our schools, Ken.
Yes, indeed. And we've been hearing from the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, who has assured Muslim and Christian leaders of government support as they join forces to confront the growing wave of indiscipline in schools across the country. The fourth Ghana Muslim Leaders and Catholic Bishops Dialogue in Accra, the two religious groups constituted a joint committee to spearhead the implementation of recommendations aimed at restoring discipline and moral values in the education system. The minister praised the collaboration between the two denominations and pledged government assistance to support their efforts. Before we listen to Ahmed Ibrahim, let's first listen to the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Usman Nuhu Shaributu, in a speech read on his behalf.
Through dialogue, we achieve the openness of the mind and the closeness of the heart. My dear brothers and sisters, the theme for this year, dialogue, could not have been chosen at a better time. There is growing concern about the spate of indiscipline plaguing us all in all facets of our national life. Of even greater concern and worry to the government, society, and stakeholders in education is the specter of gross indiscipline and hooliganism in our educational space.
That's the spokesperson for the National Chief Imam there. We can now take a listen to the Local Government Minister, Ahmed Ibrahim.
Their theme was on the rising indiscipline in our society. And what are the causes of the rising indiscipline? One, because as a state, at a point we cancel religious and moral education from our curriculum. At a point, we canceled Parent-Teacher Association. So it's like the children were left on their own. And these children have grown. Some of them have become teachers. That's why examination malpractices is on the increase. Because they don't know the ethical cost, the moral cost, the societal cost, the economic cost of the principles and the actions that they are taking. So I said, we are seeing this today because we didn't school them well yesterday. Therefore, if you want to prevent it from happening tomorrow, let's bring back all those principles and ethics in our schools.
That's Local Government Minister Ahmed Ibrahim there. And for the President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference, Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Gyamfi, indiscipline has become one of the country's most pressing national challenges and require urgent and decisive action.
Invite all of us to reflect together on one of the most pressing challenges facing Ghana today. Indiscipline of students is not merely a question of bad behavior or broken rules. It points to a deeper issue, the kind of human person we wish to form. A nation is not built by skilled professionals alone, but by women and men of integrity, capable of discerning what is right, choosing it freely, and placing their talents at the service of the common good. And this is precisely where religions, like Muslims and Christians, have an indispensable mission. Despite the diversity of our traditions, we share a fundamental conviction that education is sacred and it's our responsibility to do so.
That's the President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference, Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Gyamfi.
And before we bring you business, this is a quick reminder that the joint news dialogue on plastic waste management, which was scheduled to happen tomorrow, 6th August, has been rescheduled to the 11th of August 2026. That's next week, Tuesday. And we'll bring you that dialogue next week, Tuesday. So please take note. George Wiafe is here with business. Hi, George.
Hi, Gemma. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Nice jacket.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, coming up in business, IMF sees Ghana's policy coordination instrument as critical in attracting more donor funding and fast-track Ghana's return to the international capital market. The National Petroleum Authority insists it has not sanctioned daily review of petroleum prices following reports that some oil marketing firms and bulk distribution companies are going that way. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials.
Hello?
Charlie, I'm at the library. Why do you keep calling me?
Wait, question. What's the capital of Burkina Faso?
Ouagadougou. Bye.
Wait. Which planet is the hottest in the solar system?
Venus. Charlie, why all these questions?
See, I'm playing the MTN Swipe and Win promo. I might cash out some cool 1,000 Ghana cedis today.
Hey, 1,000 cedis. Shh. Charlie, what's the next question?
Join the MTN Swipe and Win promo today. Answer trivia, earn points, and stand a chance to win 1,000 Ghana cedis every day. Weekly cash of 1,000, 2,000, or 3,000 Ghana cedis. A brand new Hyundai Texan in the first 3 months, and the ultimate grand prize of 500,000 Ghana cedis. Recharge your account to qualify for the daily draws. To join, visit swipeandwinpromo.mtn.com.gh. Download the My MTN app or dial *5030#. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. TNCs apply.
MTN.
Who dey brush? We dey brush them. Who dey brush? We dey brush them. Brush your teeth. Brush your teeth every day and night. Slide the gems and tackle them. Brush the gems away. England gem, we go brush them. Go Asia gem, we go brush them. Panama gem, we go brush them. Go.
Whatever the germs, brush them away with the new Pepsodent, now in limited edition World Cup packs. This advert is FDA approved.
Cast your mind back to 2022. The prices were rising. The stress was high. Every liter of fuel felt like a sacrifice. Do you remember who stepped forward first? When others were comfortable with high prices, Star Oil chose you. We cut our own profits so you could keep your AC on, keep your engines running, and keep your life moving without the heavy burden. We gave you room to breathe when things felt tight. Because of you, our star savers, we became number one. Today, the pumps are a battleground. Others are finally cutting prices because they have to. But Star Oil, we do it because we want to. Don't just chase a price, remember a friendship. We were there for you then, and with new innovations coming your way, we are here for you now. Star Oil, still quality and affordable fuels for all.
Cover everything will cover. You and all you love. You and all you love. Cover. Everything will cover. You and all you love. Cover. You and everything you love. Holla cover you. Holla insurance covers your home, car, business and assets. You and everything you love. Holla life covers you and everyone you love. Holla covers you.
Hollard, we cover you.
Introducing Ghana's leading pay-as-you-copy photocopier leasing company. Lease an A4, A3, heavy-duty or production machine and pay for only the copies made, or design your own payment plan. Simple and tietia. That's not all. Incredibly, toners, repairs, maintenance, follow-me printing, centralized tracking all come free of charge. Remember, financial prudence is the name of the game. Folks, forget about the expensive gimmicks and be smart. Join the hundreds of satisfied clients across all the 16 regions and every sector of the economy and save over 60% of your printing costs. Visit us at www.valexlease.com or call 0244 644048. Be prudent and lease a copier. Terms and conditions apply. Valex Lease is a wholly owned Ghanaian company. Valex Lease, affordable document management solutions.
Hello, good afternoon. I am calling from your bank. We are currently experiencing a system downtime, so we need to secure your account. Please, can you confirm your account number and your login details so we can restore access immediately? Yes, your username and password, just to verify.
Beware of fraudsters. Your bank will never ask for your login details, PIN or password over the phone. Shine your eye. Spot the fraud. Stop the fraud. This message is brought to you by the Ghana Association of Banks.
If you spot the fraud, you go fit to stop the fraud. Make you know that it's
Saswabo. Sasso, sasso, tonton preco. Sasso, sasso, tonton preco. Edrana tramin ya buseshe. Ya hakasia ne malaria. Minya me kone me sasso spray. Every mosquito start to run away. Tonton preco. Sasso, sasso, tonton preco. Tonton preco. Sasso, tonton preco. Nani shamne die demonstronko.
This advert is FDA approved.
You're welcome back to Business on News 9. And the International Monetary Fund says it sees Ghana's new policy coordination instrument or program as a major game changer for the economy going forward. We have more on the fund staff report and reasons assigned.
According to the International Monetary Fund, the government's decision to sign up for this program will fast-track access to more donor funding for the country. This is because donors want the assurance that the government will maintain the required fiscal discipline and that the proposed financial support will be used for its intended purpose. The IMF in its staff report also stated that the program will help Ghana fast-track the process of regaining an investment-grade credit rating, a move that could enable the country to raise funds from the international capital market on more favorable terms. Ghana has historically experienced significant fiscal slippages after completing the IMF-supported programs. This is one of the reasons the country has turned to the fund 17 times to help stabilize its economy. However, the IMF believes this new program could help consolidate the gains made and strengthen fiscal discipline going forward.
And that is a business desk report. Meanwhile, the International Monetary Fund has stated that gold was the main driver of Ghana's recent economic gains. The fund in its latest report highlights how the commodity has helped in revenue mobilization, the country's international reserves, and also aided the city's stability in the past. The IMF in the staff report is, however, warning that policy credibility and actually that forced Ghana to sign the current or the recent IMF program has not fully been entrenched and remains vulnerable to reform fatigue and what it calls the political economy. Now, the National Petroleum Authority has maintained that it hasn't sanctioned daily reviews of prices at the pumps. Now, this follows report that some oil firms and bulk or distribution companies have moved that way due to the current developments on the international market. Abbas Tasunti is Director in charge of Economic Regulations and Planning at the National Petroleum Authority.
Ghana uses a 2-week window pricing system to guide pricing of petroleum products, irrespective of the fact that we have a deregulated market, and the pricing guidelines allows oil marketing companies to review prices as often as they can within the pricing window based on competition. The 2-week pricing window that we used, we are guided by the world market price that we average for 2-week periods, and that's why we publish the daily price indicators that shows the average FOB prices that will be used for every window. And so the average FOB price is one of the main factors that influences price changes for every window. The other one is the exchange rate, which can change on a daily basis because the BIDEX buy dollars on a daily basis. Daily pricing by OMCs is not, or BDCs is not something that has been sanctioned. The pricing guidelines still works with the 2-window. It doesn't mean still works with the 2-week window pricing system, but it doesn't mean that an OMC or a BDC's price cannot change in the course of a window. FX, like I said, can be one of the reasons why a BDC's price may change in the course of a window. But the major changes that they make for windows is purely based on the FOB movement and also the cost of landing the products. I mean the premiums they pay to their suppliers. And so we have not moved away from the 2-week window pricing.
Abbas Tasunti is Director of Economic Regulations and Planning at the National Petroleum Authority. Now, some businesses are still pushing for clarity and implementation guidelines on government's flagship program, that is the 24-hour economy. They argued that delays in the full rollout and the expected support for businesses is not helping them. Asiedu Nketia is Chief Executive of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Job development blueprint that we have in this country, and if you miss it, we are doomed in the next years ahead of us. So I'm expecting that every budget, be it a media or a major budget, should be aligned to the 24-hour economy, and there should be strong policy statement on the 24-hour economy. I didn't see or hear much about that. The policy is good. I mean, eloquently presented by the 24-hour economy secretariat, but the core issue is implementation. And every time they see is the private sector led, but you need to create the environment for the private sector. That is what we are not seeing, because I mean we've seen interest rate coming down, but for somebody who wants to go into industrialization, 16.5% of interest is still on the higher side.
Asiedu Nketia is Chief Executive of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Let's do some stock market news. And if you are a investor in MTN, well, each share that you are holding was down by 9 pesos and is now worth 7 Ghana cedis, 1 peso. Let's do that of Guad was also lost by 3 pesos to close at 7 Ghana cedis, 93 pesos. Other 4 stocks on the exchange lost value at the end of trading on the market. And if you have invested on the Ghana Stock Exchange, well, you made returns of more than 73% at the end of last month in terms of returns on your investment. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Back to you, Gemma and Kenneth.
Thank you very much, George Wiafe. Let's bring you other stories. The International Monetary Fund says Ghana's domestic gold purchase program, which was run by the Bank of Ghana to build the country's gold reserves and supply foreign exchange to the market, generated losses of about 22 billion cedis in 2025. According to the fund, these losses were equivalent to about 1.5% of Ghana's gross domestic product. The fund also stressed on broader challenges in Ghana's artisanal and small-scale mining sector, including persistent gold smuggling, limited tax revenue following the removal of the 1.5% withholding tax on unprocessed precious minerals, and the environmental damage caused by illegal mining. Joining me via Zoom now, Kojo Oponkoma, ranking member on the Economy and Development Committee, and also Ataisa, member of the Finance Committee of Parliament. Welcome, gentlemen, to Newsnight. Let me start with Kojo. The IMF has recommended that the Bank of Ghana moves further away from directly participating in the program and allowed Gold Board to take full operational responsibility. Do you agree with this recommendation?
Well, good evening to you, to your listeners as well. That recommendation is really not our focus at this point in time. Remember last year when we started observing what was going on, that not much has changed in the Ghanaian economy. There's not been any transformation. There's not been any significant shift. All that has been happening is that the government is buying Dory gold, selling it, getting forex, and pumping it onto the market to push down the exchange rate and turn around to claim that the economy has been transformed. We explained that it will have a number of consequences. It will have consequences, first of all, in terms of our reserve accumulation. It will have consequences because of the gold they are buying, the Dory gold. It will have consequences on Galamsey and our water bodies. It will lead to losses at the central bank. It will lead to a loss of focus on the real programs to transform the Ghanaian economy. And if the Ghanaian economy is not being transformed, you cannot deal with unemployment, for example. We outlined all of these ones. The government at the time denied it. That's all sorts of names. And we asked for an inquiry. At the time, the loss was $214 million. The majority side refused the inquiry. At the end of the year, the Bank of Ghana accounts, by the way, they haven't presented it to Parliament yet. They only gave it to a few MPs who came to do propaganda with it. The Bank of Ghana accounts claimed that the loss had grown from 214 million to 960 million, and this is dollars I'm talking about. Now, when we read the summary of economic and financial data, we don't exactly believe that, but we've been calm, even after they refused the inquiry. Now, the IMF sixth review report is suggesting that the loss is $1.7 billion. A few questions come up. If the net loss is $1.7 billion, what is the gross monetary financing that the Bank of Ghana gave out to the Gold Board for this purpose? Remember, they told us last year that they were not doing any monetary financing, meaning they were not printing any money to support the government. The IMF is now saying it's not true, and that after they did it, there was a loss of $1.7 billion. So what is the gross amount? There are questions that need to be answered in that particular area. Second, why is the Bank of Ghana account, by the way, which they haven't still presented to Parliament, saying $960 million, and the IMF is saying that it's actually 1.7 billion. There's a need for a reconciliation. And so we are not so much bothered or overwhelmed by an IMF recommendation that the Bank of Ghana should move away. We go back to where we started, which is that it is important to have a full-blown inquiry so that the people responsible for this show up, the documents behind these transactions are brought, that we can get to the bottom of this matter. I'm sure that in the coming weeks, you will see us get into the detail. We are still going through more of the spreadsheets, and there's more that we are finding, which will bring up for the people of Ghana to know.
Ataisa, let me bring you in here now. Kojo Oponkoma is saying the numbers do not add up.
Yeah, so good evening to you and to my senior colleague and to your viewing public and listeners. I will say that I have been very consistent with regards to the financial statement presented by the Bank of Ghana. And this is a clear departure from how audited financial reports are read. And I think consistently the minority keeps on comparing apples with oranges. In my earlier conversation, I stated categorically that what occasioned the differences between what was reported by the Bank of Ghana and the loss as reported by the IMF is actually on cost methodology. It has nothing to do with actual cash lost. It has nothing to do with reckless policies, or it has nothing to do with theft. Now, if you read the IMF report that they had just published, this is what they say. They will say that evidence-based interim assessment, it states, the IMF states that an independent special audit of the domestic gold purchase program from inception is expected to be completed in 2026 third quarter. Conclusions on transaction level attribution must therefore remain subject to that audit. This I'm trying to say is that the 22 billion as reported, or the 1.7 billion United States dollars, is an unaudited report. It has not been subjected to any audit, and for that matter, you cannot make conclusive statement with regards to that. That's not the first point I want to make. If you proceed further, the IMF stated also here that the 1.7 billion corresponds to an estimated 22 billion of 2025 DGPP, that's the Domestic Gold Purchase Program, operational or quasi-fiscal cost of 1.5 billion. This does not represent the gold boss audited loss, nor the Bank of Ghana's operational loss. And this is so important for me to stress. The IMF is not arguing any cash loss to Bank of Ghana, to the gold board, or to the entire government machinery to a tune of 1.7 billion. They have given you details that they have used to arrive at the 22 billion Ghana cedis. And with your permission, I will just state a few of them. The IMF, what drove the cost ratio? It is also stated in the report. What drove the IMF cost ratio? One has to do with the service fees, sales charges, trading margins, off-takers costs, purity losses, and the use of Forex Bureau exchange rates. I have always maintained that you don't add a non-cash expenses to a cash expenses to project a commercial loss. The IMF themselves has admitted that the differences between the Forex rate that has been offered to the aggregators and that of the BOG rate creates an exchange differential. That exchange differential in the books of the IMF represents an accounting loss. And this is what I have always maintained, that you don't analyze cash losses combining it with operational losses. In my earlier discussion with Honorable Kojo Oponkum, I stated that the 34 billion loss that they claim was occasioned in 2025 represented the 19 billion and then the 15 billion from the Bank of Ghana. Where you are accounting for cash losses, you use only the operating loss. When you add the other comprehensive income items, which includes the exchange differentials, it also includes the special drawings rights. When you add those non-cash expenses, it gives you your shareholders fund. In that case, it represents the shareholders fund. And in the Bank of Ghana, they will call it the equity position. So it is back to the narrative that we had always maintained, that the differences arises as a result of the accounting methodology that has been used. Who doesn't know that we have already considered that there were service fee charges that was occasioned as a result of the program. There were also margins, off-takers, costs, purity losses, and the rest. But these are not cash losses. And that's what I want the conversation to be driving at, making sure that we deal with only issues that reflect policy issues, that reflects incompetencies, that reflect cost, and that reflects a huge expenses burden on the Bank of Ghana and the Gold Board.
We are grateful for your time. We would have to end it here. Ataisa is a member of the Finance Committee of Parliament, and Kojo Oponkom, ranking member on the Economy and Development Committee of Parliament. Benaya is here with sports. Benaya, what's in sports?
And in sports, the Black Queens will be aiming to bounce back when they face Mali tomorrow after suffering a 1-0 defeat to Cameroon on Sunday in Group C. Now, a win or draw against Mali will be enough to secure qualification to the quarterfinals for the Queens, where they'll face either Malawi, Zambia, or Nigeria. Now, speaking ahead of this crucial encounter, head coach Kim Lasbjorkegren is very confident in his side's ability to deliver and book a place in the last 8.
We know that we need to play a little bit better tomorrow. I'm pretty sure that we will do that. That's why we are in a professional football. We all love the games that means a lot. The friendly games can be fun. It can be good for the team to practice new things. But that kind of games, that's why you're a professional coach or a professional player. So it's just fun. And from now on in a tournament like this, it's a must-win game every game.
Right, so a must-win game for the Black Queens. Wishing them all the best tomorrow. And that's it for sports.
Thank you very much, Benaya. And once again, the Imani Joy News National Dialogue on Plastic Waste Management, which was scheduled to take place tomorrow, 6th August 2026, has been rescheduled to 11th August at 10 a.m. So please, let's take note. But Michael Ashale is here with your say. What are people saying about the stories we brought to you so far?
Well,
Michael, what is that?
I'm sure that there's somebody you know personally who I mean goes by a name that sounds like that. General Mosquito.
I see.
I don't know. Do you know him personally?
I don't.
No.
But I'm sure you've been following. You followed him yesterday.
I watched him yesterday.
a very interesting man to listen to, I must say. But there's a bit of him that I'm finding for the first time for myself. His part about his sense of humor. And it appears that it knows no bounds, and it's not safe, definitely, from within the opposition NPP. The national chairman, General Mosquito, also known as Asiedu Nketia, may now be helping steering the governing party. But he's still taking light-hearted swipes at the opposition. While he's staying tight-lipped about his own ambitions within the NDC, he's more than happy to joke about leading the NPP as well. He says that he's possibly looking for a new job to lead the NPP. We can listen to him.
I want them that the results of what they are doing will be an attempt to purge the party, which will lead into the party breaking up into factions.
You think that is happening with the NPP?
Precisely, that is what is happening now. And then I told them about it. They never listened.
On this Supreme Court verdict.
That's why I've been lobbying to become their acting national chairman.
Interesting. Very, very interesting, Michael.
Appears that being the NDC chairman is not enough for him. So, yes, Kenneth, with your say, a lot of people and lots of the stories have been discussing today. Many of our cherished listeners have been sharing their views and thoughts with that. Comrade Isa from Baku says, as a party with many lawyers, the NPP should learn to respect and accept the decisions of the state institutions, including the judiciary. Ernest from Taifa says, Ghanaians know from day one that resetting agenda of the NDC has failed in all governance faculties. Third-term agenda Yamutu. Therefore, Mahama can't govern us again after delivering what he calls an abysmal governance. And also this from Promise all the way from Keta says, train up a child in a way, if he grows, he would not depart from it. I remember a student struck a teacher in one of the teachers' rooms last 3 years, and we are going to allow indiscipline of students to destroy all teachers in our schools. This one from Nana Ekwamwa Boatin from Ablekuma Central says, Chairman Asiedu Nketia has a way of trivializing serious matters, and I'm surprised. He wants to lead this country. Does he think Ghanaians vote for comedians? Well, this one here says that, good evening, Kenneth. Those students should be dealt with to serve as deterrent to others for taking the law into their own. And this is from Bright, all the way from the Anglonga district. Some of you have also been sharing some of your comments, but for the sake of time, we'll still be responding to some of these on social media. Thank you very much.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Michael. That's it for Newsnight, though. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi.
Mine is Gemma Appiah.
And don't forget to do the two this evening. Brush your teeth day and night with Pepsodent. Right after Newsnight is Strong and Sassy. And Akosia. Did I say Akosia?
Oh
Akofa,
my God!
AKA. Should I add the?
Oh, you want to do that? Okay.
I'm just asking. Do I add it?
Anyway, no, do not add it. Do not
Okay,
add it.
what
But
are we
yeah,
discussing
so we're
on Strong and
talking
Sassy?
about the cost of normalizing inappropriate conversations about children, and it is at the back of the MP's comments and the outrage on social media and on our timelines. And so the ladies will sit today and will share our thoughts on the conversation. So tune in right after here.
That's a very important conversation
It
because I was
is.
very livid when I saw that thing and the way people normalized it.
They're trivializing it.
It's not funny at all.
Oh my goodness.
This is how grooming starts.
Exactly.
I'll
And
be
so
glued.
we're